So tonight is the second installment of our first day of virtual witness success. We are very honored to have our guests of honor, Rufus and Jenny, joining us. Megan with Bright Step Partners she's been a sponsor of Witness Success for many years. And so we want to give her some space to talk about her leadership program. And then we will be turning it over to Rufus and Jenny for our content for today. Megan?
Great. Oops. Well, first, I'm like so happy to be sponsoring this, and I got to hear Rufus and Jenny's presentation before, and I don't know, it's kind of amazing that you can be poignant, direct, and lighthearted when you're talking about race and diversity. I'm not sure how you're able to accomplish all of those things at once, but it was like really engaging. So thank you for that presentation. And I just want to acknowledge the weight of this moment right now. I know if you're like me, I just talked to my sister this morning and she's like, oh my gosh, we're homeschooling and how do I deal with this? And my kids got like all these medical issues and, but we're also kind of at a moment of opening and potential. What I will say though is that there's a lot of movements towards diversity and a lot of companies that are saying things like, for example, Salesforce is trying to help their partners increase diversity in the companies. And a friend of mine said to me, well, that's really great, but you know that any kind of Black technologists that enter those partner companies are actually judged more harshly than their counterparts. And so we're at this moment really of reckoning where I believe that we have the opportunity to create new spaces together, to not just patch the holes in the existing boats that we have, but to actually create new ways of understanding and moving it in the world. And what I would like to say is create a new boat. And I think that this space, Witness Success, is one of them. Not just one panel at a conference talking about women in leadership, but actually that you all took the moment to create this conference a few years ago and created this space for folks. And the way that I'm supporting folks in creating new boats is entrepreneurship. So I firmly believe that the way to create more wealth in underrepresented founders, including Black, women, Latinx, better known businesses, is through entrepreneurship. And so I do that through Bright Step Leadership, helping folks start Salesforce consulting businesses and side hustles. We launched a year ago, almost exactly, at the Witness Success Conference, helped 28 entrepreneurs. Since then, one woman said, I told my husband that I realized this is a decision that's going to change the rest of my life. And it's been amazing. Entrepreneurship might not be your thing, but I would encourage you to link arms with at least one other person and gain energy around whatever the small part of justice that you're committed to, whether it's somewhere in your community, in your national level, in your faith community, starting a business, or in your company, that together we are really stronger, and you can also support those entrepreneurs that exist. I would love to keep in touch with you if you're interested. I have this like super detailed download of all the questions you should ask a potential client if you're interested in starting a consulting business. Even if you're not, go ahead and subscribe to it. And I'd love for you to share those resources with the folks you love in your life that are. And thank you so much. Thank you, Rufus and Jenny, for taking the time to share your resources with us. And I'm really glad you're all here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Megan.
Start recording ours.
Excellent. So Rufus and Jenny, the floor is yours. Thank you so much for joining us, and we're excited to hear your content this evening.
Okay, still gathering myself after Megan. Thank you so much for the nice comments and different things like that. And you ask how we can do this work and be so lighthearted about it. I mean, the difference between us talking about this and the difference between a white guy from the Hamptons talking about this is our experiences, who we are, how we grew up, the things that have been said to us, the things that have been told to us, how we have to be better, how we have to engage with people. That all comes through us. And to still be nice, you know, throughout all of this because of how we are treated, you know, because we could actually have that anger inside of us. But yeah, it flows because of who we are and our experiences.
Jocelyn, like, get on with the presentation up in here.
I just wanted to respond to Megan in regards.
No, that's wonderful. This is your time, your space.
Okay, all right, we're gonna start it up. Our introduction is actually inside of our presentation, so we can go ahead and get going. The keynote. Hey, look at that there. We got it. Okay, hustle and flow. Diversity, networking in the midst of a pandemic and racial awakening, which we are definitely totally inside of. And because this is the second recording, I mean, we're going to try to touch on some of the same things, but I didn't know Joycelyn was tweeting out all of our good stuff. So we're going to also try to give you guys a little bit more, you know, tips, something new and different.
You finna do a hustle?
I'm finna hustle.
You gonna sell DVDs
I'm
and
gonna
CDs?
flow with it. I'm gonna flow with it next. You want to do our intro?
Oh, we are Rufus and Jenny Triplett, diversity consultants, trying to tell you how to do things the right way.
And we are a husband and wife team. We've been married 30 plus years, and we are co-authors of the best-selling book, Surviving Marriage in the 21st Century, 13 Easy Tips that can help you get to 20 years and beyond. It has sold over 100,000 copies and has taken us across the country and around the world doing marriage workshops and different talks and seminars. And you may have seen us on a few TV shows. We have a TED Talk and everything. And I always tell people we're Google-licious. Just Google Rufus and Jenny, and everything.
Is Google-licious like Bubba-licious?
Something like that. It all comes.
Kind of licious is we doing?
This guy right here is always telling me we're dragging our resume through the door. It's like, you know, it's getting longer and longer and longer every time we talk, you know, something. So trying to find the bullet points is hard because there's a lot to it. So you guys also go to our website, rufusandjennytriplett.com, and everything is there. Find out about it. And now I'm going to have to update it in regards to this wonderful Salesforce stuff. Okay. All right. Next. Okay. This workshop presentation is interactive, and we like to be interactive with you guys because we like the feedback that we get, and we want to make sure that you guys understand what we're saying, the examples, and that everything resonates with you all. So there will be exercises, and we're asking you to participate. Even for the ones, I think there's a few just call-ins, you know, people that, that aren't in. Even for you guys are listening, but you can't necessarily see the picture. So,
oh, they can't?
No.
Well, how they gonna participate?
They're just calling.
Oh, they're just gonna listen?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. We'll help them along as well. Okay.
Well, we need to help them people that's gonna do the rewind too.
Yeah. And so you're gonna need a pen, paper, if you don't already have it, and your phone. And you guys can tweet along, which they really, really did in the first session at Rufus and Jenny. All the tweets, I got off the phone. I was like, oh my gosh, all these tweets.
Just don't cuss me out when you tweet.
Yeah, all these tweets. No, they were very nice tweets.
Oh, they was nice.
Very, very nice tweets. Okay, next one.
Sameness is the mother of disgust. Variety is the cure. Believe that.
Yeah, everybody, if we were all the same, there was no variety in America.
We'd just be bored to death.
It would be quite a boring world. We would just all be the same. Imagine 5 people that's the same as you, that looks like you, that talks like you, that moves like you. Just, you know. Well,
remember that movie where you're doing the same day over and over again?
Groundhog Day.
You know, I'm saying the sameness is the mother of disgust. Those people got disgusted to have to do that thing every day. So you need a variety to cure sameness.
Okay, next one. All right, we didn't expect this pic
Don't
to
put up my mug shot.
to be so big, but we wanted more of our faces. You guys to see our faces than our uniforms. It had our uniforms on here. We are military veterans, and this is kind of where a lot of our diversity started, because if you know anything about the military, you're just kind of thrown in there with people all across the country. You don't know, a bunch of strangers. So I'll let you tell your story first.
Well, it's not really a story. I just say, when I went into the platoon, the drill sergeant said, we don't have color up in here. Ain't no, I know y'all looking at each other, it's black, you see white. We only see green and light green. And from that day forward, and that's to keep the unit together. So we understood why he did that after a while. Because I grew up with diversity. There's a lot of kids that was in that platoon that had never saw a black person. So when he said we have green and light green, everybody understood after working with the platoon why he did that, because it was for unity.
And my diversity started even earlier than that, because my parents wanted a little bit better education for me. So they started sending me across town to schools, to the white schools and the integrated schools when they opened it up for us to be able to go. And I know I'm aging myself, right? I'm aging myself. I'm going to age myself throughout this presentation, so just be prepared for that.
When you said white school, was it for whites only or something?
It was, well,
what kind of stuff going on?
Those were the neighborhoods. So it was just all the people that went, there were no black people in those neighborhoods. So those were white, that's what they considered them, white schools. So my elementary school was probably about 97% white. I was the only black person in my class. My middle school was about 90% white, because more black people started coming across the bridge to the schools. And then by the time I got to high school, my high school was about 80% white. But we didn't have racial issues. There were no, like you see in schools today, there were no racial incidents or anything like that. We were all, it was kumbaya. You know, my BFF was white. I would go to her house and different things like that. We intermingled, you know, we went to games together. We went to dances together. We went to,
tell about them parties y'all went to.
There was nothing, no problems or issues or anything like we're having today. So when I got to the military, it was a culture shock. You know, first of all, you're in a berth with 80 women, you know, who wants to be, all right, that's a lot of women. That, you know, there's a lot of women, and you do everything together. You eat together, you sleep together, you shower together. I mean, you march together, everything is together.
Everything.
And you have people, you know, that maybe come, you know, from the backwoods of Tennessee, you know, like the Hatfields and McCoys, and they call black people colored. I mean, one of my earliest experience with someone talking about color was from someone from Tennessee who had no problem calling a black person a colored person. So as we were sitting there talking, you know, I was the one to engage with her in regards to that, you know, and I asked her, well, what color were they? You know, what color? And she boldly just looked at me and said, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? No, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you're talking about, because I just was not used to hearing that type of language, you know, coming up. So yeah, the experiences with military and different things like that's what molds you. And then, you know, the military puts you out into the world in all different types of places. So you have to get along. You have to, you know, get along with people and network with different people. All right, we are used to being in rooms like this. For those who cannot see, imagine a huge conference room with about 750 people in it. You know, it was only supposed to be 500 people, but it became sitting room only.
Yeah, because you kept letting people in. I said close the door.
I didn't have control over that. I didn't have control over that. It became sitting room only, standing room only. It was just a huge amount of people that came to hear, you know, what we had to say. And it's filled with different ethnicities, different nationalities, different ages.
Grandmas, grandpops.
Yeah, all kinds of people, you know, in regards to that. And we're used to speaking to different, you know, people like that around the world. And a lot of people always ask, how did we get here? How did we get to be able to do, you know, things like this? So
yeah, I am worldwide now.
It all came from networking, So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. This is our first exercise. And for the people that are just calling in and listening, I'm going to try to describe it to you guys, and maybe you can participate. If not, it's no biggie. Okay. All right. So,
Oh, they got this.
So go on. This exercise is called icebreakers. And for the people who are just listening in, on the screen is a woman, and she has a gele, if you guys know what that is.
If you don't, it's some type of head wrap.
Yeah, it's a gele. Okay.
So the first thing is, how do you start a conversation with her? Second thing is, what is something you should not say to her? The third thing is, what is something that you may presume about her by seeing her? Again, she has on this head covering. It's not really Islamic. You know, some people say maybe it's African. Oh, I'm giving it away too much. Oh, I'm giving too much. Too much info.
Okay. Okay. Who wants to take the first question? How do you start a conversation with her? We're trying to see who's on here, because we're gonna be like the teacher and calling on you guys.
Can everyone on the phone called in, can you see the screen? I just want to do a check to make sure.
I can.
Awesome.
We don't have a name for her, like the fourth one.
Let's see. Katie, do you want to answer the first question?
Yeah, I would start a conversation by saying hello.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, she went basic on that for sure.
Real basic. Introducing myself.
We gonna keep it right here.
Okay, who wants to take the next one? What is something you should not say?
I'll take it.
Your head covering.
Go for it.
Tell me about your head covering.
Okay.
Got that right.
Okay. And then what is something that is a presumption?
Where she's from?
Thinking that a presumption is
Yep.
thinking that she's from another country. Thinking that she's from another country. Okay. So let's break these questions down. Starting a conversation with someone. Icebreakers are always hard. Small talk is always hard. You never know which way, to go with certain things like that. A lot of times when I walk into the room, I'm the only person that looks like this. We're the only people that look like this in a lot of rooms that we walk into.
It's only because we networking and trying to get into other networks.
Yeah. And how do you start a conversation? I mean, a lot of times people approach me and the first thing they say is, where are you from? Believe it or not, that is not a conversation starter. That is really a big turnoff when that is the first thing, that is the very first thing that you ask me or, ask someone, because trust me, we have a whole network of people who will have a conversation about it. They're tired of being, asked that.
That's why Katie said hello. But if you say hello, they might say hello.
Right.
Ain't gonna start no conversation,
right.
But you're gonna say hi.
And we can get to that part during the conversation, but that's not really an icebreaker. It's not a really, actually it's a turnoff. It's a really big turnoff.
I told you Katie was keeping it right here.
And what is something that you should not say? I mean, what is that thing on your head? Or can I touch it? It looks heavy. Can I touch it? So instead of engaging this person as a person and seeing this person as a person, just like everybody else that is there, if you ask them where they're from or can I touch that thing in your head, you're not asking Barb in accounting where she's from. That's not how you start a conversation with her. So why would you start a conversation, with this person that way? Okay. And then something that is as a presumption is definitely thinking that this person is from another country when they could actually be from here, and maybe they're just dressed that way because of the theme of the event, or maybe the person that they came with, or,
or
maybe
they just like the
or like there's something.
They like the dress.
Right. Something, maybe they traveled abroad and they got this, and this is the first time they get a chance to show it off, and wear it or something like that. So you just never know.
But it is very easy to make a presumption concerning what someone is wearing.
Yeah. So things that you could say, approaching besides the basic hello, Katie. You could
Hey,
definitely.
can you leave Katie alone?
No, she said hello. She went basic.
Hey,
Okay?
Katie kept it right here.
You can talk about the agenda. Talk about when you show up to events, 9 times out of 10, they may have a speaker, they may have entertainment, or they may have a silent auction. Ask them, did they bid on anything, or whatever the situation is going on at the event, or the food. Ask them, are they liking their food? Is there anything that they, particularly liked, or anything like that? Or talk about the organization. If it's for an organization, do they know anyone from the organization? What they like about the organization? There's so many other things that you could talk about than that actual go-to, as far as
What they look like.
What they look like or what's on their head. Okay. All right, diversity is more than race and gender. And I think we concentrate on that so much. We focus on race and we focus on gender. And we see that in today's times, like right now, those are really big things focusing, on race. But diversity can be by sight. The physical features of someone. You may have a disabled person that is physically disabled. And a lot of our veterans are coming back wounded and they're having these physical disabilities that are, that you can actually see, that they're disabled. Clothing, but what someone wears, maybe their traditional garb or, something they decide to do. You automatically know someone is Amish, pretty much looking at their clothing and what they're having on, that makes them diverse in that way, or what they're eating or drinking. If somebody eats something that is cultural from, that makes them diverse. If that's something that's in their diet and that's something that they go by, that makes them diverse as well.
But it is so much more than just race and gender.
Mm-hmm. You want to take that one?
Diversity. I mean, even if you look at it by voice, someone's accent, automatically you're caught up in maybe assuming where they might be from, their vernacular, something that they may mention. Again, you may be automatically presumptuous about where they might be from.
Right. And accents are a really big deal here. I mean, they're a really big deal because it separates us regionally in this country. If you hear someone has that Texas Southern drawl, going on, or somewhere
somebody
down,
thought I've had an accent.
Yeah, in Mississippi, or even that Creole in New Orleans, or even that Fargo, North Dakota, or even that Boston Yard, regionally that's an accent, and necessarily where from. Even that New York
Yeah.
minute, that's something that and that is a diversity that you carry with you automatically, and we did a podcast in Canada last week, and there were people on there talking about they loved our accents. And I think we as Americans don't realize a lot of times, because we grew up in Michigan, so there are times that we don't have an accent. I don't know, you have an accent. Canadians, they have that little bit, sometimes that little French, accent going on, but we don't feel we have an accent. Oh, hold up. Okay, and vernacular is necessarily meaning how somebody pronounces something. You have the Geechee people like down in the mid-Atlantic area, and different things that they say, or you even have people in St. Louis that pronounces their R's, a certain way, their vernacular.
If you've been in this country long enough and you've done some traveling,
Yeah.
then you done been down south and you saw them people say, hey, where can I find the courthouse?
Yeah.
You go down yonder.
Yeah.
And you go down and you see look, I didn't even know what yonder was.
Yeah.
I thought yonder was a long way.
And that something that they mention like that is that type of diversity and where they're from. Okay. And then also the particular things that they say.
That's
like
that vernacular.
Like we grew up with, in Michigan, it's pop. Okay. We come to Atlanta, it's soda. And we were like, what's soda?
I'm just trying to get a pop, man. Can we not have this right now?
And then you go to New Orleans and it's a cold drink. Who even says that? Cold drink. Who even says that? So in different places, and where someone is from, if they say a particular thing, because we're down here in Atlanta saying pop, they always say, oh, y'all Northerners, y'all transplants, you know, down here. So that goes to your diversity as well. Okay, reasons why the networking is needed, and you have to do it correctly.
And are you doing it correctly?
Yes.
It's very much needed. The first, I mean, it's about building your circle. What we found in doing social media, a lot of people try to build their circle around your circle, not understanding that you can't take someone else's circle and make it yours, because they've already done the networking and the necessary thing to make their circle. So your circle actually interacts with you. They like you, they know you. So I can't take someone else's circle and make it mine.
Okay, and networking helps you expand your reach. So how do we get in a room with all those people? It's from different networking in different circles and people knowing who we are, and that expands our reach. The same way that we have networked with you guys and come into this circle, and y'all ain't never heard of Rufus and Jenny. Y'all didn't.
They ain't never heard of me?
Yeah,
I don't see why not.
Y'all didn't know we were super fly. Y'all didn't know that, right? Okay,
Anywho.
So it took networking, you know, for us to be able to expand our reach into different areas. So y'all can find out how super duper fly we really are.
And so how do you expand your reach? Find new mentors. Find new things that's out of your norm. Find new mentors. Don't go to the same place to try to find.
Everybody knows the top 5, you know, like Tony Robbins and Les Brown and
Rufus Triplet and
stop it. No.
Oh,
no. Okay. And Lisa Nichols and, you know, Damon John, you know what I'm saying? Brendan Burchard, like, you know, the same ones. Find new ones. Find new little crooks and crannies that, you know, people that are doing really cool
They be
things.
gems if you find them.
You know, yeah, and you can learn from them, and you can also talk to their network. You know, the people that are talking to them, you know, you can also talk because you guys, you know, have some common alignments, okay? And also networking helps you improve your communication skills. Now, earlier I told, you know, you guys a story about Cuba, so I'm gonna have to tell you guys a story about Dubai. Okay.
Oh, here we go again.
Yep, I gotta tell a story about Dubai.
Well, tell them about them 4 suitcases I had to buy while we was there.
I wasn't the only one shopping.
Oh,
I was not the only one shopping in Dubai. Okay, so let's set that record straight.
Moving on.
Let's set that record straight. Okay, so this guy gets off the plane and just loves how they're dressed. You know, how the Emiratis are dressed.
I had never seen nothing like it.
So I'm clean to death, right?
Everything look clean.
They're clean and so manageable over there, right? So he goes and he gets the whole outfit. I mean, the whole everything, the colander, everything. He's looking like a straight up local.
I had on my shade.
He looks local.
Girl.
And so we're walking out, you know, of our hotel, and we're walking down the street and everything, and people are coming up to him and
they caught me
and asking for directions.
No, they weren't just asking for directions. They was speaking Arabic. No.
In Arabic.
I was standing there like, who the heck they talking
in Arabic. Now we speak a little Arabic because we are Muslims, so we speak a little Arabic.
I ain't got too much.
A little Arabic, but not that type of Arabic. But he looked so local, just like the locals. So that really helped us. I mean, when you take on the whole thing, you blend in. You blend in. He was so blended in that, you know, it helped us improve our communication skills because we actually had people who took patience with us after they realized we were Americans, you know.
But again, like y'all earlier, I had to start using sign language because we wasn't understanding each other. So I had to start putting up fingers and pointing at stuff, saying, this is what I'm talking about. Huh?
Yeah.
It wasn't leche no more.
It wasn't leche.
I forget what the word was.
Yeah, we had to find something.
We had
to find a bank.
But I wasn't gonna lose that communication. So I had to find a way to communicate with these men and women over here to advance my network.
Our communication
and actually,
skills.
Again, some of them actually came over into our network.
Yeah. Okay, and then also you can discover inspiration. And in these times, you need to be following people who are giving hope and inspirations. We watch the news, We try not to watch press conferences daily, but we get several
I'm
of them.
depressed.
And you would think that we were, there was no hope. There was no hope because of everything that's going on. But there are still a lot
good
of
thing I'm
people,
optimistic.
yeah, who are giving inspiration and saying, this too shall pass. We will, we're going to move on from this, and we'll live better days. And speaking of which, all right. When I did this presentation, we were at 4.75 million COVID cases, but as of today now, we're over 5 million cases. And we were also this is in the US, so I don't mean to leave anybody out, but we were also at like 11.75 unemployment. 50 million people in the US are unemployed, and it's hard. It's hard for a lot of families. It's hard for everyone. The lines at the food banks are off the chain. The lines for testing is off the chain, and it's hard to talk to anyone, because I feel that we all now have someone that has been affected, by unemployment, by COVID, by, it all has that.
Something like COVID can mess up networking and communication real quick.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. And not only are we dealing with that, but then we're dealing, with the Karens going wild. We got, calling the police on people. We have the marches and the protests and different things, with Black Lives Matter. We have the mask debates, to wear a mask, to not wear a mask. Do I wear a mask, not wear, what do I do? What is going on? And then of course we're dealing with everything in Washington and stuff like that. So how do you network? How do you network with people with all of this going on? How do you network? All right, so this brings us to our next exercise, and not sure, but you're saying everybody can see the screen? Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, so exercise 2, we're gonna give you guys some safe topics, in which to network with people. So that's what this exercise is all about, okay? All right, within these 3 pictures, I want you guys to think of some ways. How would you start a conversation based on these 3 pictures? And we only see 2 people. We have 2 people?
Yeah, so us, Fabiola, Katie, a couple people have messaged me saying they're having internet issues, so they may come back.
Okay, that's fine. So Katie and Fabiola, I'm gonna pick on you guys. No.
I feel like I can cheat because I listened earlier and paid attention.
Hey, I am so glad that y'all here, that you can leave my name alone.
Oh, stop it. Okay, the first picture, whichever one of you guys want to take that. How do you feel, just from this picture, what would you say to start a conversation with someone based on that picture?
How old is the baby?
Okay, that's a safe question. All right, Katie, you want to take the next one?
Is the dogs, is that the next one?
Yeah, you can do that one.
Yeah, the Crips and the Bloods.
No. Oh, I didn't even pick up on that.
Oh, good. I was just saying something.
I was just going to say that my dogs hate it when I dress them up.
Okay. All right. Well, Joyce, go ahead and cheat. Good.
I would ask them, what sports do they watch? Do they like basketball?
Okay. Those are all very safe. If you look at these pictures, these are safe topics. Even with the first one, you can ask someone, what they're binge watching. A lot of us are at home, even with people who are working, from home, or people who work during the week and at home on the weekends, what are you binge watching on TV? You ask people, about their kids.
And Katie, you were 100% correct. It's not about the Crips and the Bloods. It's about your pets. It's very easy to talk to someone about their pets.
Right, and you can ask people about their pets because, I just saw a study where they said a lot of pets are having depression, because they don't feel that they're getting enough me time. Sometimes they're at home.
They know COVID taking up time right now.
Like sometimes they're home alone for like 8 to 10 hours a day, but now everybody's home. The kids are homeschooling, everybody's at home. So the dog is like, okay, well, what do I do? With all these people, everywhere, what do I do? So yeah, that's a safe topic. And then of course, sports, even if people don't watch sports, guess what? We're missing the Olympics right now. Everyone loves the Olympics. I know I do. you know, and we're missing that right now. So those can be some safe topics. And the first one too, as far as the kids are concerned, some people might have a problem talking about their kids because they're eating up all the food right now, you know. And just
Let them babies eat. Them babies hungry.
and staying up late and, you know, trying to get that homeschooling going on there. So it's might not be too good, but still it's a safe conversation. It keeps you away, you know, from a lot of the other stuff that's going on and still help you expand your network.
Look, I hate to do small talk. I'd rather talk about meditation or world or trees or animals than small, inane, you know, banter.
Now, that might be something good to say in regards to small talk, but look who said it. And she's having a real problem right now in regards to how she treats
you can't say nothing these days.
Her employees. So some people may say, I don't want to hear anything from her. You know, I don't want to hear anything she has to say because of, you know, her toxicity. You know, so it's also about not necessarily reaching out, but it has to be receive what you're saying. Okay.
Just cut the woman off. She gave away 5 houses. You don't care about none of that.
Go ahead. Okay, now, what do you guys notice about this picture? Anything you notice about this picture here? There's not a lot of us on this picture. We're in here. You can spot us. It's like, where's Waldo on this picture? But there's not a lot of us, you know, on this
Waldo?
picture.
Can you call me?
That's a kind of a where's Waldo. But this was a building exercise, not exercise. I guess social experiment when Ricki Lake went to reboot her show and reached out to her social network in order to have all kinds of diversity as far as the reboot and making sure, you know, that everyone was included. Their message was included, their voice was included, you know, the topics that they wanted to talk about was included. But you don't see, and we gravitate to stuff like that because we feel our voices need to be heard.
Well, you got to grow your network. We're not trying to have a network just of us.
Right.
And trying to have a diverse network.
If you're just talking to yourself, I mean, what kind of message are you, you know, displaying? You know,
I mean, Ricki Lake friends was really good to me.
Yeah,
they gave me water.
They were good to us, but a lot of people did not gravitate to this because they didn't care for it, or they didn't care for, you know, Ricki Lake, or they didn't care, you know, for that. But we felt it was important to have our voices heard because you don't hear our voices. We're not always heard. So we were important. So once again, it also goes back to receiving, and it was about team building. You know, we were being a part of the team.
Right. You could be involved. You can be invited to a network that you don't necessarily know nothing about, and you decline to go. But it could do some good for everybody for you to join that network.
Right. And if they're open and asking you to be a part of it, which means that they are embracing you. You know, they're embracing you to come in so your voice can be heard.
It did help. She was flying me to LA though.
Stop it. Next. All right. When we speak about diversity, one huge category that is missed.
The Golden Girls.
Is age. People are not talking about age. There's not enough talk about it. There's not enough being said about it. There's not enough inclusiveness, you know, in regards to it at all. And it's something that we try to be cognizant of.
But what we've learned is that they want to know about the apps. They want to know what their grandchildren are doing. They want to be more involved in everything that's going on with networking. But a lot of times we don't think about them when we're creating the apps or creating things that they could be involved with.
Yeah. And we're living, you know, in a time where there's so many generations that are working, and there's so many generations on social media, and there's so many generations it's multiple generations that are doing different things and creating projects. You know, you have the baby boomers. Look at the baby boomers are running Washington. That's who's in Washington right now. That is the baby boomers. Okay, so how can you leave them out? How can you not talk about them?
And they need to be included, if you know what I mean.
The golden girls and the golden guys, okay? And then you have Gen X, you know, which is us, and you have those millennials, those wonderful millennials. Oh, we love to talk to HR people about those millennials.
I love millennials. They'll walk out of a job real quick.
Job retention is low. Because still those millennials, hey, they got to go. They will ghost you. They got to go. And Gen Z, who is, you know, they're not even ready for Gen Z. That is like a whole new generation.
I ain't even ready for Gen Z.
They're so carefree. They're carefree. They don't believe in history. They don't believe in this. They grew up with the internet, so they're Google shakes, and it's just everybody is not ready, you know, for that. But guess what? Their voices have to be included. Yeah, they have to be included in order, you know, for this to work. That's the problem that we have now because everything was so divisive. You know, it's been that way, but they have to be included.
That's right. I ain't got nothing to say to that.
All right, so we're down to our next exercise, our last exercise, and we're gonna try this again, guys. We've given you guys some really good tips.
Oh, they got it now.
Yeah, and some things on how you can do this network and everything, even during this time. So we're gonna do this again, okay? Same exercise.
Same exercise.
Yes.
It is again with my Katie and my Megan and my
Fabiola.
Fabiola.
Fabulous.
Fabiola.
Yeah, Fabiola. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you start a conversation with her? What is something you should not say to her? What is something that you presume of her?
Yeah, what is a presumption?
So this is, again, a continuance of the first exercise to actually to make what you concluded after what you've heard.
Yeah, after you guys have heard what we say and how to network and how to reach out and different things like that, how would you do that? Who wants to take number one? Besides your basic Katie and saying hello, what else could you do?
Katie need to answer that again now.
Okay,
Yeah,
Katie.
I would still start with hello, just for the record, but then I'd probably add on to it with how's your evening going, and then depending on the event, something about that, like you mentioned, have you bid on any auction items, or are you in support of this charity, or how are you associated with the event?
See, Katie,
Okay.
now you're starting the conversation.
Okay, great. Now that's a conversation starter. Okay, number two. So what is something you should not say, Fabiola?
If her headpiece is heavy,
Right.
or how do you wrap? Yeah, how do you wrap it? You know, asking what is the fabric? Can I feel the fabric?
Right. Definitely don't ask to touch it.
Oh, my girl, you need to hold her head up. Hold it up.
You're sensitive about the touching. You know,
Yes.
you know, can't touch this. Okay. All right.
I agree with you.
Okay. And Megan, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay. So and we know you were here earlier, but what is something that is a presumption?
That she is not from the States or Canada, that she is maybe from Africa, a country in Africa, or Middle East.
Or that she doesn't speak English.
English, yep.
Yeah, that is a huge presumption. Okay, all right.
Now we ain't presuming no more.
Doing it, yeah, okay.
You cannot have unity without diversity. I will say it again. We cannot have unity without diversity.
It's going to take us all. It's going to take all of us, because we are, like they said, growing up, we heard it 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times. The U.S. is the melting pot. And now it's not just the U.S. because we do global business, you know, and the global business is a melting pot. So, you know, no matter what your diversity or your ethnicity or anything that you bring to the table, in order to unify, it's going to take all of us. All righty, we get to wrap it up. Wrap it up. Gonna summarize just a little bit with some takeaways. Next, okay. Things to remember when you guys are seeking leads and connections, because that's probably something we do maybe 40% of the time. You know, if you're out there, everybody's always
gotta try to find new leads.
Yeah,
gotta
new
find
leads,
new connections.
and different things like that. Is to be authentic. And I love to take this.
Be yourself, please.
I love to take this, and I always find myself teaching people, because we're on LinkedIn. I'm Jenny Triplett.
Y'all know them fake people.
Rufus Triplett on LinkedIn.
I sure am.
But I get a lot of contacts. I get a lot of like messages, and people wanted to get connected, different things, and they're all like cookie cutter. They're cookie cutter. Oh, you know, Jenny, I see, you know, you're connected with this person or whatever. I would love for us to connect. And I'm always wondering why, you know, why do you want to connect with me? And I never see, you know, you view my profile, you know, or anything like that. So you don't know what I do, but it's more so it's one-sided, because it's like you're trying to build your network. You're trying to get a connection, you know, and it has,
and
it
we
doesn't
haven't
have
even
anything to do with
connected
me.
yet. Right. We got to connect first.
Right. It doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't ever accept a connection on LinkedIn without going to their profile. I don't ever do that unless it's someone I've met in person. I already know what you do, you know, and you
Katie in the background said, me neither. I don't do that.
And you send that connection to me, I'll automatically accept it. But if you're sending me a blind connection, I go to your profile and try to see how we're aligned. And I get so many people that's just like, I don't understand how, you know, what are we doing here? Because it doesn't
come over to your connection and I'm going to follow all these people that you got. Like you going to really know these people.
It doesn't end up being an authentic connection. It ends up being one-sided for you. And then the next thing I get from you is something, can you watch a video? You know, or can you go and check out this article? Or, you know, can I talk to you about insurance?
You are not being
like
authentic.
So,
we are not connecting here.
Yeah, that's not authentic. That is not authentic. And then the next one is be genuine. And some people will say, well, isn't that the same thing? Well, authentic.
A lot of people will say that.
Actually, it's not. Actually, it's not, because the cookie cutter and what you're saying to someone, if you're saying it to everyone, that's not authenticity. But the genuineness comes from the heart and the sincerity. You know, if you are sincerely trying to connect with someone, if you are sincerely trying to, you know, bring someone up, bring someone into your network, that comes from the genuineness that you have. And it will show. It will definitely show.
Quickly.
No, you want to take the last one?
I mean, pretty good. We form biases too many times. You cannot form a bias on someone and expect that connection to be authentic, right? So just keep the biases out.
Yeah, don't form any biases. Like my sisters in Techie here, my Desi sisters and my Asian sisters on this picture right here, we already know that they experience a lot of prejudices and discriminations in tech and also in Silicon Valley and everything. I'm connected to several of them on LinkedIn, and I hear all the stories and different things like that. And there's all kinds of biases, you know, in regards to them and their lives and what they do. And there's no possible way, you know, they could be taken seriously by, you know, a diverse team if maybe they're invited to the table with diversity, but then they're not included, you know, in what's going on. You know, because you check the box of diversity, you invite people to the table, but then you don't
just assume that they know what Bollywood is.
Yeah, you don't include them, you know, in what's going on. Okay.
We are diversity disruptors, and we come to change the norm. You know why? Because what everybody been doing has not been working.
The norm has not been working. And that's a hashtag that we use across social media, diversity disruptors, because it needs to, diversity needs to be disrupted.
I'm telling you what I know.
We feel, and we've seen, not only do we feel, but we've actually seen that there's a lot of the wrong people that's teaching diversity. That's why you see there's so many problems, you know, with diversity. A lot of the diversity initiatives have not been working. So
because I'm gonna tell you how diversity worked for me. I'm gonna tell you what the real on diversity.
Yeah,
I can tell you what somebody told me.
And we're not gonna give you a lot of what the textbook says, because we've lived this. You know, we've experienced this. We've been in these situations. So we're going to tell you what works, what we've seen, you know, works, but we're also going to teach you and facilitate to you from our certified workplace course, you know, that's certified by SHRM. And we facilitate to different companies and everything. So if you guys are interested in that, you can text 474-747 to that and just write. I didn't put like a buzzword or anything, because text me what you want.
How we gonna come in and disrupt the disrupting on diversity? Yeah. How you gonna disrupt diversity?
That's what we do. That's what we do. So text interested, text hola text, yeah, text whatever you want to text.
All I know is Guten Tag.
Guten, that we ain't talking about that language.
Oh,
we ain't
that's
talking
all
about
I
that
know.
language though. Okay, go to the next one. Okay. Oh, now we come to the fun part. We get to take your questions. Hopefully you guys have some questions for us.
So I can ask one. So how do you use your different social medias to find different thoughts that might challenge what you believe, to start opening your minds to those different ideas?
Okay. On Twitter, I always look every day. I try to, if we're not traveling or I'm not super tired or anything like that, I always try to go to the trending topics. What's the trending hashtags, the trending topics, different things like that. Some stuff gets way too far left and too silly for me to get involved with, but there's certain things that I do like to see and like to go to, and I like to see what people are saying. I follow a lot of civil rights leaders and different activists like that. I follow different media outlets, nonprofit organizations, because they're always tweeting out something different, you know, in regards to that. And then I like to see who some of these things that go viral, like the student here in Georgia that went viral for the classroom pics. I like to see, I will go in her tweets and see who likes her tweets, you know, and see who likes her tweets. And then I'll check on some of those people and I'm reading what they're tweeting, you know, and what they're saying. So it's not cookie cutter, but it's also work. And I also feel that people just like to dump on social media instead of actually getting in and doing the work, you know, to see how you can expand your network. On Instagram, we're more visual. You know, that's where we use our videos for messages. We use our pics for messages. We'll make bold statements for messages. And when people share those things out and the hashtag goes in different places, I follow different hashtags on there. I follow diversity hashtags. I follow diversity and inclusion. Women's empowerment, different things like that. So if you get into the hashtags, you'll start seeing all kinds of, you know, different people and stuff as far as growing your network. On Facebook, on our personal page, not our fan page, but on our personal Facebook page, that's more like our friends are more like family. They're more like, not necessarily blood family, but a lot of them have been with us for 12 years or more on Facebook. A lot of them have followed our journey from before writing a book.
They're like family?
You know, before Ebony Magazine Couple of the Year.
Did they invite me to the cookout?
You know, before our TLC special. You know, before that, you know what I'm saying? A lot of those people, they have grown with our journey over the years for everything that we've kind of accomplished and achieved. But now we have all these new followers because we've had some videos go viral and we're just like, oh my gosh, you know, like all these people are following us.
Getting into different circles.
Yeah, so we test things. Pretty much our Facebook is public. You could go and see all of our posts. And we don't use it as, like, some people will use it as a brand. We are our brand. We are our brand. So everything that we post has to do with us. And just like we talk about people with personal brands, we don't sit at home and talk about politics all day. We don't sit at home and talk about food all day. We don't sit at home and talk about our marriage all day. You know, it's a mixture.
Sure, no.
Yeah, it's a mixture of things. So that's how our Facebook page looks. You know, it's a mixture of things because we're people, we're human. And I think
I like a variety of everything, including communicating with different people.
And I think that's part of our authenticity.
Even some people who is all about Trump, I talk to everybody. Only time we're gonna stop communication is when you want. Look, I don't force my opinion on no one. So no one's going to force their opinion on me or our following. So we'll shut that down real quick, but we will leave the door open or the gate open for that conversation. We never stop the communication.
Right.
And again, as far as people communicate, like with your network, the whole thing is like, we always take our marriage. And I say, I had to figure out how to communicate with her for us to stay together. Otherwise, we wouldn't be up in here. Huh?
Not
But
at all.
anywho, so you got to do the same thing with networking, is find ways to communicate with people, even if you don't agree with them.
Even if you don't agree with them, right? Because there's been several soap opera posts on our Facebook page
Get rid of them. You can block them, but at least try to communicate with them first.
Where it would have been easily just to block someone and kick them out or anything, but engaging them in conversation, is a choice.
And they actually grew our network when we kept the communication open. Yeah. It actually helped some of their network who didn't come over to our network, or we blended networks, however you want to say it.
And I find that when we're at Rufus and Jenny across social media, guys, but he has access.
I thought we was at Rufus.
Has access to all of it, but you're really talking to me, okay? Just to let y'all know, y'all talking to me. But I find that when I comment on media stuff, like media articles on either Twitter or Facebook, or even some of like the more influential people on Instagram, that's when a lot of people like come to us and start following.
Well, I hope that helped y'all.
Stop it.
Oh, I thought the time was up.
Yeah, that's where I find, that people come and follow us, because they'll say, because I'll ask people if they come and I notice new names, like when they start coming, I was like, oh, you're new. You're new here.
She sure do.
Yeah. How did you find us?
Just calling people
and they'll
out.
say, well, I saw something that you commented on US Today, and I thought that was pretty nice. And so they started following us, or something like that. Yeah.
She be wanting to know everything, y'all.
That's keeping up with your network.
That is knowing your network, though. All right.
Question. Look, don't rush people.
Oh, I just looked at. I thought they said we had an hour.
Yeah, any other question? We didn't go first.
Your space. You can take as long as you want. It's your space.
Oh, I'm about to shut up then.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I have a question. What is your recommendation on where to get started on building your network when we're all stuck at home and it's not easy to go out and meet people face to face and really have that personal communication?
I stand corrected. Katie got a question.
Okay, you're trying to rush people.
My fault.
You got a hot date. I thought I was sitting right here. Okay. Social media. Yeah, I think one thing that people don't take advantage of is hopping on people's lives. Like when people go live on Periscope or on Instagram, when they go live on Instagram Live, or they go live on Facebook, different things like that, people can see your name in your comments, so don't just, get on and just enjoy, I'm just enjoying, that kind of thing. Get active, be a busybody, make some statements, make some comments, and different things like that. And, even for the ones, because the IG doesn't keep the comments anymore, but I think Twitter does, and they can go back and they can see, that you're actually being active, in that. People like people who are active, and commenting and, and saying stuff.
But going on somebody's live give you a chance to kind of see where they head at, what they talking about. If it's something that you want to get involved with, or someone you want to communicate with, and if it ain't somebody you want to communicate, you can get off real quick.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in, I'm out. Don't want to talk to that one.
And don't negate your network. You do some lives. You have some people, that know some people, even if they only have like 300 followers or so. You have some people that know some people, but the more you start going out there, the more you'll start seeing that. Like last year with our transportation company, we stayed on the road. I mean, we were home maybe 1 week out of every 3, because we were like gone so much and traveling. So we didn't have a lot of time to build our Instagram, because we couldn't go live in a lot of places. We didn't have internet access, of traveling. So with being home with COVID, we've been able to do IG lives, which we started in May, not the rush that everybody did when everything shut down, because I knew that would be burnout. So everybody hopped on lives as soon as everything shut down, and just going live. Then all of a sudden you saw the lives drop off because you're burnt out at that point. You can't do that. So we only started maybe like the end of May. And from the end of May until now, we took the whole month of July pretty much off, besides one we did with Linda Salzauer about the Breonna Taylor situation. But from that time, from the end of May until now, we've grown over 1,000 followers on Instagram, that our network group, just from us doing the lives. So you can grow your network and advertise your events. Like if you're going to be interviewing someone, I don't know if you have cool people in your network and something like that. Say, you know, you're interviewing, you know, Jocelyn or whatever, that you're going to be interviewing her. Make sure you make a nice little maybe Canva poster or something like that for your social media. Let people know, you know, so they can schedule it. They can set an alarm, you know, set that, I ain't got my watch on, set that Apple Watch, you know, alarm. So people know, because we're so busy and doing different things. Sometimes we forget, oh my gosh, I forgot. That was today, you know, that was tonight. So yeah.
But you never know who's out there and who's going to see it. And then also on Instagram, you know, you got the rerun, so people might catch it later on.
Them replays. Yeah, the replays and stuff that's going on. And those will build. You will grow. And I think even with in today's times, a lot of times people want it Insta, just because they say it's Insta, they want an Insta network. Like they just
Instagram don't mean Insta network.
Yeah, Instagram don't mean Insta network. You've got, this is over time, you know, that you grow.
And the more you grow your network and they get to know you again, the more your network engages with you.
Yes, and you find some really cool people following you. Like I told them, you know, I do not exploit the fact that, you know, Barack Obama follows us on Twitter. Barack Obama follows us. Octavia Spencer follows us. There's a couple other well-known people that follow on Instagram. Congressman Ilhan Omar, the first Muslim congresswoman, she follows us on Instagram. So the more you get out there and the more you get exposed, I mean, people are going to find you, find out who you are.
Excellent. Any other questions?
All right, y'all be cool.
Okay.
Slide, or is the next year.
Awesome.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you and good night.
Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate. Thanks for all.
We really do, y'all. We really do.
Thanks for embracing us, and you know, who knows? Maybe you guys will see you guys live, you know, next year.
Thank you so much for joining. These two sessions have been amazing. I can't wait to get them up there on YouTube so we can share the content. Hopefully next year we can meet in person. That would be amazing to have you at the conference. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Yeah, we appreciate it. It's good.
Excellent. Have a great rest of everyone's evening or morning, depending on where you are.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.